Ready to join the Mile High Club?
What?
Number 30, the Nike commercial. After Colin Kaepernick's protest in 2016 and the fallout, Family Guy was bound to parody the incident at some point, and they did with season 18's The Movement.
Oh my! Looks like Coach Peter Griffin is taking a knee during your national anthem. I'm Canadian. What is he thinking about?
To control his bowels, Peter takes a knee during a baseball game, which everyone assumed was a protest against racial injustice. This leads to the president of Nike arriving and offering him cash to be in a commercial, which we see before becoming disturbed. It starts off pretty normally and pretentiously.
How do you know what's inside you unless you test yourself? Don't do 1 push-up, do 100. Don't run 1 mile, run a marathon.
But it then goes off the rails as Peter becomes more extreme by having multiple families, one with an alternative lifestyle. However, by the end, Peter goes on a murder spree before he's executed. Number 29, Brian the Cat. If there's one thing Quagmire loves, it's, say it with us, cats. That's right, nothing else. In season 11's episode Joe's Revenge, he and Peter help Joe go after the people who injured him years ago.
Quagmire and I'll help you bring this guy to justice.
Peter, what did I say about you volunteering me for
So Quagmire leaves his kitty Principessa with Lois. With cats and dogs being natural enemies, Brian is jealous of Principessa. At one point, Meg and Chris fawn over the cat making biscuits on Lois's chest as she sleeps. With his obsession for the Griffin matriarch, Brian removes Principessa and imitates the cat as he feels up Lois. Yikes. Lois soon wakes up, not at all surprised, causing Brian to knock her out with a lamp before darting away. Double yikes. This incident is never mentioned again.
Stupid cat!
Number 28, Powerless Aquaman. Thanks to the old-timey cartoon Super Friends, Aquaman doesn't have a great reputation with the masses. Instead, people assume he can only talk to fish and he's rubbish on land. In season 7's Baby Not On Board, Stewie sets up a cutaway by mentioning that Peter is more useless than Aquaman.
You're more useless than Aquaman!
The scene shows a woman being attacked by a criminal on the beach. The marine hero pops up in the ocean to save the day, only he doesn't. Instead, the criminal calls Aquaman out, who doesn't do much except yell some underwhelming threats and toss a starfish at him. Yet it gets worse.
Oh, you're in for it now, buddy. I got like 5 fish coming to help. Oh, here they are.
By the end, the woman makes a plea, only for Aquaman to blame her for leading the criminal on. Number 27, JFK Pez dispenser. In 2012, the creator and voice actor of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, mentioned that with hindsight, this joke was something he wouldn't have done today. In season 1's A Hero Sits Next Door, Peter is mistaken by the cops as a bank robber.
Cool! The bank is getting jacked!
Officer, my husband's in there. Can you tell me if he's okay?
What's he look like?
He's wearing a white collared shirt, kind of big, with glasses.
As an officer tries to snipe him, Lois knocks the firearm, so he misses the target. At that point, a kid leaves the store with a John F. Kennedy Pez dispenser. However, parodying the real assassination of JFK in 1963, the stray bullet destroys the plastic Pez head. However, the boy soon moves on as he has a Bobby Kennedy one too, JFK's brother, who in real life was also assassinated in 1968.
Good thing I still have my Bobby Kennedy Pez dispenser.
Number 26, the pie. Apparently, the simple, delicious treat of a pie is often a backdrop for some of the darkest moments in Family Guy. For example, in season 10's Amish Guy. In this episode, Peter, after struggling to get on roller coasters due to his weight, is helped by his friends with dieting.
Peter, if you want to ride that roller coaster, you're going to have to go on a diet.
A diet, huh? All right, well, how's that work?
So, using old-timey cartoon tropes, Quagmire makes a pie to test Peter's resilience. No matter how enticing the steam becomes to make Peter feast on the pie, he must resist. However, with his refusal, the steam becomes incredibly aggressive and begins to assault Peter, all while it forces Quagmire to watch.
Peter, it's making me watch.
Due to making light of such a horrible situation, it is super uncomfortable viewing. Number 25, Stewie's Lollipop. In 2020, as part of the protests against George Floyd's murder, monuments to problematic figures were destroyed. Well, the season 19 episode Pawtucket Pat nodded to this.
He's a hero.
Not anymore! He's a racist murderer, and this statue should be torn down!
Brian and Stewie go to the park at night to remove Pat's statue after discovering a scandal about the local hero. As Brian is tying it up, Stewie mentions he's going to the bathroom. Brian tries to stop him, implying Stewie is in danger. However, he soon comes out with a lollipop. Rather than leave the joke there with a fake out, captions pop in stating that Stewie is imagining the candy and that he was actually assaulted. The captions go further by explaining that Brian is going along with it because he doesn't want to deal with the situation.
Now let's stop talking about that lollipop and get to work.
Number 24, the Reworked Cosby Show opening. At one point, Bill Cosby, the star of The Cosby Show, was known as America's dad.
When we talked, I told you, I said you could come to me for anything, and you did exactly that. And one of these days, I'll forgive you for that.
However, he was then accused of assault by several women, often allegedly using substances to sedate victims. While Cosby was sentenced to jail in 2018, he was released on a technicality in 2021. In season 14's Peter's Sister, with everyone watching TV at the Griffins for Thanksgiving, the intro for The Cosby Show comes up, mentioning that they're taking into account what we know about the star's crimes now. The opening credits display Cosby dancing like he did in the actual show. However, none of the performers, mostly women, are. Instead, they are all unconscious or intoxicated. Number 23, Minions 3 with Harvey Weinstein. There weren't many more powerful people in Hollywood than Weinstein. However, rather than use his standing for good, the film producer assaulted many women, earning him years in jail. In season 17's Bry Robot, the Griffin dog is celebrating his birthday and is handed gifts by the family.
Happy birthday, Brian!
One of them was a DVD of the made-up film Minions 3. However, instead of having Gru doing his antics, he's been replaced with Weinstein. A scene from the product comes up, showing the producer barely covered by a robe, demonstrating to one of the minions how much of a bad guy he is. The frightened creature can only utter one of its few English words, banana.
Well, thanks everyone.
What's wrong? You seem a little down.
Number 22, Brian and Stewie's children. Brian and Stewie have a complicated relationship. Most of the time, they're BFFs. Other times, it's something more sinister. In season 13's Stewie is enceinte, the baby genius is concerned that Brian is distancing himself from him.
If we're going to fix this relationship, we need a baby, and we need it now.
So, rather than have a non-horrifying conversation about what's going on and finding a solution together, Stewie impregnates himself after taking Brian's DNA without his blessing. And when the litter arrives, they are not in good condition. Most have massive health problems, causing several to perish in a short amount of time. Eventually, the duo realizes they are in over their heads. So, they drop them all off at the animal shelter and move on from that catastrophe of science and consent quickly.
This is for the best.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be adopted.
Oh God, yeah.
Number 21, Meg accepts her role. For years, Meg has been the emotional and physical punching bag for her family. Yet in season 10's Seahorse Seashell Party, she finally stood up to her tormentors.
My God, you're condescending! I'm making a legitimate point about how poorly this family treats me.
In an eloquent and emotional speech, Meg puts each of the Griffins in their place, which they responded to. Finally, she was free. But when everyone begins arguing among themselves, Meg changes tack. She explains to Brian that she thinks the family won't survive unless she's the lightning rod to absorb the dysfunction. Brian doesn't fight Meg's assessment, instead praising her for going back to her previous sad role.
That's incredibly noble and mature, Meg. I think you might be the strongest person in this house.
You mean that, Brian?
Absolutely.
All that growth and potentially a new status quo free from abuse vanished when Meg told the family she was lying when she stood up to them. Number 20, Brian gives Stewie an STI. There are disgusting episodes, and then there's Herpes the Love Sore. A very dark and nasty piece of work. It concerns Stewie contracting herpes from Brian after the two become blood brothers.
I think we should hold hands more often.
There you go. We're blood brothers now. You happy?
The story alone is quite disturbing, but what makes the whole situation worse are the revolting visuals that accompany it. Stewie has a graphic sore on his face throughout much of the episode, and at one point, we're treated to the gag-inducing sight of future Stewie's pus-leaking sores.
Look at my lip! It's a disgusting herpes sore! And now I have some very uncomfortable phone calls to make!
Gross-out humor has its place, but this whole storyline has a very unpleasant atmosphere about it. Number 19, Mayor McCheese as JFK. Assassinations are obviously a very sensitive subject, and joking about them requires towing a very fine line. Family Guy may have crossed that line here. Road to the Multiverse features a particular joke that sees Mayor McCheese standing in for JFK.
So Nixon won the 1960 election and totally botched the Cuban Missile Crisis, causing World War III.
Wow, so I guess Lee Harvey Oswald never shot Kennedy?
Nope, he shot Mayor McCheese.
Like Kennedy, McCheese is shot and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. We're then treated to a very perturbing visual as Jackie Kennedy climbs out of the car and eats pieces of McCheese's head. Yes, the joke is that he's an actual hamburger, but it's playing on a very real tragedy and the unforgettably brutal footage that accompanied it. For some, the darkness may outweigh the humor. At least the show acknowledged its own bad taste.
That joke's not in bad taste, right?
Oh, who cares? He's a cheeseburger.
Number 18, Michael J. Fox ruins Peter's shirt. And speaking of the show acknowledging its own bad taste, let's talk about Michael J. Fox.
You only have 2 white shirts?
Well, I had a third one, but it got ruined at that wine tasting at Michael J. Fox's house.
In a rather brilliant but upsetting gag, Peter sets up a cutaway involving Fox before speaking to the camera and informing viewers that they won't be showing the bit. Of course, this is the bit, with Peter explaining the cutaway and then showing a check with illegible scribbles.
Anyway, I sent him the bill, and he sent me this check, but, I don't think I'm gonna be able to cash this.
Just to rub salt in the wound, they then show the cutaway anyway, with Fox spilling red wine on Peter's shirt. Like some of the other jokes, this one is rather distasteful, as making fun of things like disease can be taboo and insensitive. Number 17, Stewie's grotesque injuries.
Well, I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
Season 8 is widely considered to be one of the show's worst, with many fans singling out the darker tone and increased use of explicit violence. That is on full display in Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Stewie is accidentally knocked down the stairs and gets a massive gash in his head that knocks him into a comatose state. He then spends the rest of the episode unconscious and with an incredibly vivid and rotting head wound. It even draws the attention of a raccoon. Even by Family Guy standards, the subplot was wickedly unpleasant.
Hey, I just found out it's November.
Number 16, aggressive cancer.
Yeah, that's a great achievement. Just like the first chemotherapy patient to figure out the handkerchief look.
As we now know, Family Guy isn't afraid to joke about things like assassinations and Parkinson's. Well, we can now add cancer to the list. A couple displays great enthusiasm at the man's new bandana, and they share a very brief moment of happiness before reality comes crashing back down with a grim reminder.
It's like you don't even have cancer!
I know!
Oh my God!
No, but I still have pretty aggressive cancer.
Many people don't like making light of cancer, especially highly advanced forms. That seems to be the case with this poor man. And while the show wants to make us laugh, we, on the other hand, just feel bad for the guy. Number 15, Peter drives through the Boston Marathon.
Holy crap, this is awesome! I haven't felt a rush like this since I won that marathon.
Let's just take a moment to acknowledge that Peter is a mass killer. Not just in this episode, but like in general. In one of his coldest moments, he participates in the Boston Marathon by driving his car to the finish line. Unfortunately, this means running over and presumably killing dozens of runners. It's an unbelievably grisly joke at the best of times, but this episode aired less than a month before the attacks at the Boston Marathon in 2013. The tragic connection resulted in the episode being pulled from various services, including Hulu and Amazon. There are dark jokes, and then there's watching the protagonist happily commit a massacre.
What do you guys say we all go celebrate at the Clam?
Number 14, Peter reveals Anne Frank.
Sorry, Chris. Me and my damn appetite. This isn't the first time it's got me into trouble.
Family Guy likes pushing buttons, and that often comes at the expense of real people, and it arguably doesn't get much darker than the Holocaust. Anne Frank was a Jewish girl who hid from Nazis in the occupied Netherlands. Her family remained hidden for years before they were captured on August 4th, 1944. Frank was subsequently taken to a concentration camp and died in custody. We still don't know how they were found, but Family Guy suggests it was because of Peter. He's shown hiding with the Franks and loudly eating potato chips, which attracts the attention of the Nazis. Few shows would approach the Holocaust and the murder of a family with such vigor, but that's what helps Family Guy stand out from the pack. Number 13, Peter defends Chris. In this episode, Peter develops a fondness for tormenting his friends and family.
Peter, what the hell is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? You're the one punching yourself in the face.
The entire storyline is rather disturbing, as he uses Joe as a string puppet and pours boiling water on Lois. But it all starts with the horrific treatment of Kyle. Kyle has been pushing Chris around, literally, and Peter decides to confront him. After some goading that clearly hits a nerve, Peter sees red and physically squares up to his son's tormentor.
Shut up, Kyle.
I'm Peter Griffin. I'm a dorky, fat numbnuts.
Kyle, I said shut up.
You're a poop nose.
It is a very difficult scene to watch. The subject matter alone is rather unsettling, but the visuals and sound effects really add to its distressing nature. At least Peter realizes he's done wrong, as he runs home in a clear panic. Number 12, Peter has a stroke. Now, Family Guy is going after stroke victims.
Peter, are you winking at me?
Oh my God, someone call an ambulance!
Peter eats dozens of hamburgers and suffers a huge stroke that leaves half of his body paralyzed. Viewers are then treated to a rather graphic depiction of stroke symptoms. Half of Peter's face droops heavily, his speech is severely affected, and he clearly struggles to walk as he drags his paralyzed leg behind him. At one point, he even slams his arm in the car door and fails to realize it. For some, these scenes may prove highly offensive, as they're asking us to laugh at the severe symptoms of a medical emergency.
Stroke! 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 Stop mocking me!
Number 11, the death of Cecil Pritchfield. This is a very unique episode of Family Guy, featuring limited commercial breaks, an extended runtime, no cutaways, and the presence of Sir Ian McKellen.
Send in, Stewie, please.
He plays Dr. Cecil Pritchfield, a child psychologist who attempts to dig through Stewie's psyche. He eventually breaks through the facade, but begins to suffer from a heart attack. He asks Stewie to get his medication, but the baby is unwilling to help, as the psychologist knows his deepest secrets.
Yeah, listen, you're not gonna like this.
Stewie sees an opportunity and watches Cecil die, although he later feels extreme guilt. This episode may have all been a dream, but it may have also been a memory. Either way, Stewie did a bad thing, and he is well aware of it.
Brian?
Yeah?
I did something awful.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Number 10, Everything with John Herbert. Not many shows regularly feature a character as open about crimes as bad as this.
That's a mighty full sack you're carrying.
Piss off, you perverted old freak!
Herbert is the Griffin's neighbor, and he's got a thing for boys, including Chris. The creepo made his debut in To Love and Die in Dixie by inviting Chris to perform a very inappropriate act.
Got a nice tip for you right here in my pocket, but my arthritis. Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
And he hasn't gotten any more pleasant from there. Herbert loves to watch Chris eat hot dogs, spies on him through the window, and attempts to catch children in a butterfly net. At one point, he even asks Brian for an ice cream truck. Super creepy.
You know, with colorful pictures of ice cream treats. And it plays a tune that's fun for the young children.
Number 9, Peter blows up a hospital. In this episode from season 15, Peter and Lois misguidedly become vehement anti-vaxxers.
We were gonna get Stewie vaccinated, but now after our research, we're definitely not.
As if that's not dark enough, Peter mentions that he destroyed the entire town's supply of vaccines, and the scene then cuts to a parody of The Dark Knight. Peter is dressed as the Joker and walking away from an exploding hospital, with who knows how many people dying in the process. Once again, Peter is presumably committing mass murder, this time in an act of domestic terrorism. If that wasn't dark enough, he then makes a comment about going home and...
All right, what else did I have to do today? Ah, yes, overdose in my apartment. I better get home.
Which references the death of Joker actor Heath Ledger. It's a rather vicious 1-2 punch that may leave some jaws on the floor. Number 8, Terminal News.
Well, I better tell Cleveland. I got a knack for delivering bad news.
I don't know how to tell you this, Mr. Devaney, so I'll let these guys do it.
You have AIDS.
Shocking Family Guy musical numbers are nothing new. They've been going strong since season 4. In the 4th season episode, The Cleveland Loretta Quagmire, Peter is seen with a barbershop quartet giving a man his AIDS diagnosis through song and dance. The crew admitted that the joke was meant to be tasteless in the DVD commentary, and their intentions were realized, as several AIDS organizations protested the song and its content. Family Guy goes to dark places, and cheerfully singing about a deadly pandemic and jokingly call it full-blown AIDS is undoubtedly one of its darkest moments.
You've got the AIDS.
Number Number 7. Stewie gets revenge on Olivia and Victor.
Stewie, this is Victor. We did a Flintstones vitamins commercial together. 10 million strong and growing.
We know Stewie is psychotic, but we didn't think he'd ever go this far. In the episode Chick Cancer, Stewie reunites with his old musical pal Olivia Fuller when she returns to Quahog. However, Stewie later finds Olivia playing with her friend Victor, and feeling betrayed, he sets the playhouse on fire with Olivia and Victor inside.
Is that smoke?
Idea for a farce. Cheating wife and Papa's ass burned alive.
This obviously isn't meant to be taken seriously, but watching them be set on fire makes for some incredibly difficult viewing. While Olivia would return in season 15, viewers went 10 years with no reason to think Stewie wasn't a murderer.
You know, the last time I saw you, you were...
Burning in a cardboard house?
Yeah, burning in a cardboard house, yeah.
Number 6. Brian's fate.
Brian, look out!
Unlike its animated peers, Family Guy isn't known for packing dramatic punches. But Brian's death certainly got the tears flowing. In Life of Brian, Brian is run over by a car. His injuries are horrific and sad enough, but then the Griffins learn that they'll have to put him down. Brian says a touching farewell before passing away.
You've given me a wonderful life.
While Stewie would eventually save his pal with the power of time travel, his initial death was both terribly sad and painfully dark, especially for those who've gone through similar situations with their beloved pets.
Wow, Stewie, thank you for saving my life. You know, a lot of other families would have just gotten a different dog and moved on.
We could never do something like that, Brian.
Number 5. Brenda's boyfriend.
She's a hot piece of ass, and from the looks of it, she likes it rough.
That's my sister, Brian. Her boyfriend has been beating her mercilessly. The last thing she'd want right now is to be objectified.
Oh, God, I'm really sorry.
I got a deaf brother. You want to make fun of him, too?
Family Guy often covers touchy and dramatic subjects, but it usually does it with surrealism and/or tongue-in-cheek humor. Not so with Brenda's violent boyfriend, Jeff. In the episode Jerome is the New Black, Quagmire is sheltering his sister from the abuse when Jeff shows up with a baseball bat. Their story is given significant attention in the episode Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q, as the Griffins and Quagmire attempt to save the submissive and defensive Brenda from her relationship. It's all taken unusually seriously, and their story can be a little too realistic and upsetting for some to handle.
Wow. I guess he's really gone.
I kind of want to kill somebody else now.
Number 4. Stewie and Brian's Christmas home invasion. Well, so much for holiday cheer. In the Christmas special Road to the North Pole, Stewie and Brian take on the role of Santa, when the real Santa is too sick and exhausted. But their first stop proves to be disastrous.
All right, look, let's just go. Right, we'll go. I'm just going to rewrap this bat for, Johnny. Let me just clean his father's blood and hair off it.
Daddy, I want a drink of water.
Stewie attacks the father with a baseball bat. He and Brian physically attack the mother after she discovers his body, and they tie up the daughter with duct tape. It's unclear if the two survived, but judging by the spilled blood, we're gonna say no. It's a horribly gruesome scene that perfectly highlights the show's penchant for shock value and excessive violence.
All right, come on, let's get out of here.
Number 3. Brian's revelation.
Just tell me, come on.
No.
Come on, please.
The episode Brian and Stewie is a bit of an enigma. Not only is it light on the jokes, but it also features just those characters while tackling some extremely heavy subject matter, like finding out that Brian has contemplated taking his own life.
Sometimes it's all too much.
What is?
Life, everything.
Given that Brian is a staunch supporter of gun control, Stewie naturally asks him why he has a gun in his safety deposit box. Brian then reluctantly reveals that he's unhappy and finds comfort in the fact that he has a way out. While Peter has also broached the topic, Brian's scene is taken much more seriously and is one of the show's most upsetting and dramatic sequences.
I mean, I love you as one loves another person whom one simply cannot do without.
Well, I love you too, Stewie.
Number 2. Peter Griffin Jr.
And you better be responsible tonight. I don't want a repeat of the last time I left you alone with one of our children. It's just so horrible.
The episode The Juice is Loose contains what is arguably the darkest cutaway in the show's history, and that is saying something. After Lois reminds Peter of what he did the last time he was alone with the children, the episode cuts to Peter Jr.'s grave. Peter explains that he thought shaking Peter Jr. would stop him from crying, and then in true Family Guy fashion, adds that he was kinda right. Only Family Guy can make a joke out of something like that and have it work. But even then, it's hard not to say they went too far.
I'm sorry, Lois. I thought if I shook him enough, he'd stop crying. I was kinda right.
Number 1. Quagmire's behavior towards The Simpsons.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Oh, I gotta say, that was fantastic.
What do you say we go back to your place for round 2?
Sounds good to me.
They might be rivals, but this is just way too much. In the episode Movin' Out Brian's Song, a fake promotion for The Simpsons appears on screen, and things turn horrific when Quagmire appears and he forces himself on Marge off-screen. Hugely problematically, Marge ends up liking it and she takes him home. When Homer walks in, Quagmire shoots the entire family.
You're amazing, Glenn!
Oh, I just take a lot of pride in what I do.
Hey, what's going on here?
Unsurprisingly, Fox said no way and pulled the joke from the air. They later told the producers of both shows that they could no longer attack each other. The gag was eventually reinstated for the DVD release for all to watch in disbelief and disgust.
Oh no! Who will pay for my saxophone lessons?
Is Family Guy the darkest animated show, or is it something else? Let us know in the comments.